Welcome to the Transportation Division Personal Property section. You've just received your new permanent change of station orders and are wanting to schedule a time and date when a local moving company can come to your residence and start packing. So let's start with some basic information about your upcoming conus move. Hopefully this will refresh the memories of you old-timers and answer the more common questions of those who will be moving for the first time. Question 1. How do I get my personal property shipped to my new duty station? Well, the following types of orders will authorize the movement of your personal property, whether it's moved by the government or by you. PCS, ETS or retirement, or government quarters assignment orders are needed to authorize your shipment. Question 2. What can I ship in my household goods shipment? Well, the following definition of household goods is taken out of the Joint Federal Travel Regulation, Volume 1, which states all personal property associated with the home and all personal effects belonging to a member and the member's families on the effective date of the member's permanent change or temporary change of orders is authorized for shipment. The term household goods does not include the following: automobiles, trucks, vans and similar motor vehicles, airplanes, mobile homes, camper trailers, and farming vehicles, cordwood and building materials, property for resale, disposal, or commercial use rather than for use by the member and or family members, and privately owned live ammunition. Question number 3. I have a mobile home. Will the government move it to my new duty station? The answer is yes, and the Transportation Office can help you with this process. The government will allow the cost of the movement of your mobile home as long as it doesn't exceed what it would have cost the government to transport your maximum authorized household goods weight allowance. Question 4. Will the government ship my boat and boat trailer? The answer is yes, they will. In accordance with the Joint Federal Travel Regulation, Volume 1, a military member is permitted to ship boats under 14 feet in length only, and that is without a boat trailer. They are also authorized to ship components and accessories of such boats as part of their household goods shipment. If the boat, component, and or accessories require special packing, crating, and handling, then the service member must pay these costs. The Transportation Office can help determine if you would have any of these accessorial charges. Question number 5. What do I need to do, if anything, before I move? The Transportation Office will prepare all of the necessary documents that you will need. The DD Form 1299, Application for Shipment and or Storage of Personal Property, and the DD Form 1797, Counseling Checklist, will be covered with you during your scheduled transportation briefing. At that time, you will be advised to keep all of the paperwork from your upcoming move together in case you have to file a claim for loss and or damage at your final destination. Question 6. What do I need to do before the move begins? Well, basically, just ensure that the agent has the necessary room to perform all of the required packing. In other words, don't pile all of your belongings in the middle of the room or on top of tables or countertops. The packers will need room to work. Prior to your move, the local agent should contact you either in person or telephonically and perform a pre-move survey. This will give the agent a fairly good idea of how much and what kind of packing materials he will need to bring with him to your residence. A good move depends largely on how much you get involved and how well prepared you are when the movers arrive. So, let's cover some of your responsibilities. Keep your Transportation Office informed of any change in your orders or other changes, such as the telephone number at which you can be reached until you leave your old duty station. After arrangements have been made, pack and or pickup dates cannot be changed unless your orders are changed or you have a documented family emergency, such as a message from the American Red Cross. If you find the date must be changed, contact the Transportation Office immediately. Do not call the carrier or mover. Between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. on your pack-out date, you or your representative designated in writing, normally your spouse, must be at home when the packers arrive. 30 days in advance is not too early to begin preparation for your move. Remove, disconnect, and prepare your TV antenna or satellite dish for shipping. This includes the disconnecting of any wires or cables that are hooked up to these items. This is a member's responsibility and must be taken care of prior to your move dates. Empty, defrost, and thoroughly wash the inside of your refrigerator and/or freezer. To keep mildew at a minimum during transit and storage, these appliances need at least 2 days to dry out. Leave doors open after cleaning. Drain water from hot tubs and water beds. Remove window air conditioners. Disconnect and prepare all components such as stereos, turntables, compact disc players, video disc players, computers, printers, televisions, and VCRs for the move. Disconnect all appliances such as washers, dryers, and cooking stoves. If plumbing, electrical, or carpentry work is needed in disconnecting these appliances, you must arrange for the work and pay the charges connected with it. Dispose of foods that could spill or spoil in transit or storage. Dispose of worn out and unneeded items before the move to avoid wasteful packing, moving, or storage expenses, and most important, excess weight, which could be charged to you. Remove pictures, curtain rods, and mirrors from walls. Inspect the kitchen for utensil and food racks or other holders secured to walls, cabinets, or doors, and remove them. Dismantle outdoor play equipment and outdoor structures. Ensure personal property items are free of oil or pest infestation. Remember, complying with requirements of the U.S. Department of Agriculture and state laws is your responsibility. Remove personal property from attics, crawl spaces, or similar storage areas within the residence. The packers are not required to go into areas that are not accessible by a permanent stairway, are not adequately lighted, do not have a finished floor, and do not allow a person to stand erect. Have your property separated by shipment and distinctly marked. Put items that are to go into the unaccompanied baggage shipment in one room, mark items for storage, items not to be packed, and so on. This reduces the chance that items will get into the wrong shipment or that items to be discarded will be shipped. And whenever possible, dispose of all trash and like items prior to the packer's arrival. Separate your professional items and make sure they are identified on the inventory as professional books, papers, and equipment, as these items are weighed separately. Remove all previous carrier markings and stickers from furniture and boxes. Identify contents left in drawers. Be sure the inventory reflects the contents. Do not, under any circumstances, leave cash, jewelry, or other expensive items unattended. Airline tickets and passports are important documents. It's a good idea to keep these items locked in your car or ask a friend or neighbor to keep them until your shipment has been picked up. Ensure each carton and loose item, such as ladders and rakes, have an inventory tag and appears on the inventory. Monitor the wrapping and packing of your items. Make sure everything is wrapped individually and adequately. Make sure heavy items aren't packed on top of light items, and don't allow your property to be taken to the warehouse to be packed without first consulting the transportation office. Drain all gasoline, oil, and water, and disconnect the battery from power-driven equipment such as motorcycles, mopeds, lawnmowers prior to pickup. Carefully read the inventory prepared by the carrier personnel before you sign. Look at it from time to time while the items are being packed. Make sure all boxes and loose items are listed. If a box contains crystal, make sure the inventory sheet says crystal, not kitchen items. Make sure the descriptions of major items are complete and accurate. If the packers list color television, have them add the size, make, model, and when readily accessible, the serial number. This also applies to stereo and video components. Check the string of symbols listed for each item closely. This is how the packers show pre-existing damage. These symbols are explained in the top right-hand corner of the inventory sheet. For example, BR2453 means broken bottom front left corner. A good inventory shows what you shipped and what condition the item was in at the time of pickup. If your inventory is inaccurate, Tell the carrier representative and write down why you disagree at the bottom of the inventory sheet in the space marked for exceptions. Do not, under any circumstances, argue with the carrier's representative. If you have a problem, call your transportation office at once. The Quality Control Section telephone number is 239-3903 or 3904. Do not sign anything until you read, understand, and agree with it. You must be provided a legible copy of everything you sign. Never sign a blank, incomplete, or illegible form or a form you cannot clearly understand. Remember, it's your property, so help us to help you protect it. Now let's cover some of your responsibilities at destination. Contact the destination transportation office as soon as possible after your arrival, even though you may not know the delivery address for your personal property. The transportation office needs a telephone number and/or address where you can be reached on short notice. As soon as you have a delivery address for your personal property, call the transportation office again and provide this information. If possible, be prepared to accept delivery of your property as soon as it arrives. This will prevent additional handling and reduce the chance of loss or damage. It will also reduce or eliminate storage expenses. You or your representative designated in writing, again your spouse, must be home between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. on the date of delivery. Know in advance where you want each piece of furniture placed in your new residence. The mover is required to place each piece only one time. Check each carton or item off the inventory. Make sure everything that was packed is delivered. List any damage or missing items with appropriate inventory numbers on the Joint Statement of Loss or Damage at Delivery, DD Form 1840, to avoid problems. Make sure you carefully look over your property and list any missing inventory line items or noticeable damage at this time. Make sure that you have completed this form and that it is turned into the responsible SJA claims office within 70 days from the delivery date, because the claims office only has 70 days from the date of delivery to ensure that the carrier is notified of an impending claim. If you fail to submit this form within the specified time, you may be penalized upon final disposition of your claim. Do not sign for services if they were not performed by the carrier. And do not argue with the carrier. Contact the destination transportation office if problems arise. For the most part, moving can be an enjoyable and hassle-free experience. With a little help from you and the transportation office, it can be a breeze. If you have any questions about an upcoming move, please contact the Fort Riley Transportation Office at 239-3035 for further assistance.